So, hi everybody, welcome to this group session. And we start as we usually do by a guided meditation and at the same time this enlightenment activation for those who wants to. You need to have the video on. So we sit comfortably and closing our eyes. And Ingegerd, you have to you have to mute your microphone. Can you do that? Yeah, good. Thank you. So to speak, landing on this spot, just noticing how things are coming and going away from moment to moment. Feelings coming and passing. The sound of his voice is rising within you and going away. Thoughts, of course, are coming and they are going away. It's just a flow of phenomena rising and falling from moment to moment. And this is how we live our life. From morning to evening, just one thing replacing the other. And usually we are very fascinated by this. We don't have a specific experience or feeling. We want to think about something. But in this non-doing meditation, we're not interested in anything specific which is arising. We just allow this moment to be exactly as it is already. No idea that it should be in a certain way, not pushing anything away. Everything is allowed to be exactly as it is in this moment. Even thoughts are allowed to be here. Thoughts are a part of this meditation. We don't push away thoughts. We just let them be, so to speak, meaning that we're not interested in them. So we just sit here now, allowing the moment to be exactly as it is, not interested in anything specific, and doing absolutely nothing. And if emotions are arising, we treat them in the same way. Everything arising is allowed to be here in its own way. You don't push away anything. We don't try to fix anything. We don't search for anything. We're not analyzing. Just letting the moment be exactly as it is. Not interested in anything specific and doing absolutely nothing. Okay, we can take 1 or 2 minutes to come out of meditation. As most of you know by now, what we are doing in these group sessions when we are talking is to find what are our main obstacle, our main unique obstacle in our life that hinders you from seeing that you are already living in the enlightened state. That's all. So it's for everyone, by yourself or with this help from here and individual sessions, to try to find what is the obstacle for not seeing that you are totally free already now. And we have been going through many of these obstacles that maybe you have, and we have been looking at it in individual sessions as well. So today we're going to look at this one more. It's going to be quite a small topic, but it can be important if you find that you have this kind of obstacle for seeing the truth. And that has to do with creativity. Oh, but how can creativity be something bad? I mean, this is the opposite. Oh, creative. I'm a creative. I'm doing things. I'm creating things here. I have strong ambitions. Very big ambitions. Makes me feel good, actually. And when I'm creative, I feel good also. Of course, creativity is a beautiful thing in itself. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually, it's part of life. Beautiful part of life, even. And even ambitions, nothing wrong with it. But what you're talking about here is if it can be connected to something which is creating an obstacle for you to not see the truth. Because if we are very creative, what is the reason for this creativity? What is the reason for these strong ambitions? Now we can look at it a bit more close and see, well, the main reason for me is that I feel good. I feel good when I'm creative. I can do the whole days. If that is an answer or version of it, I can do it the whole day. So maybe we can look at it a bit closer then. If it's something which is actually becomes more of an obsession. I want to be creative because I feel good then. So what happens if you're not creative? I don't feel good. If that is an answer, doesn't have to be, of course. You as a unique individual, you have your story. But if the answer is that I feel good when I'm creative, I feel good when I have ambitions, maybe there is other reasons than just the so-called natural ones to be creative and ambitions. It can be some other reason behind it. It can be running away from the fact that actually I'm not happy. I don't feel good, actually. And I'm trying to fill this vacuum of unsatisfaction this part of me that is saying, actually, I have to admit that I'm not happy. I'm not very unhappy, but I'm not happy also. And I've heard about this bliss and love and peace and all that kind of stuff. I want this. Which is a good ambition, by the way. The only ambition worth trying, maybe, so to speak. So if we find that we look for the reason for this ambition and this creativity blossoming, you could find that actually there's something else behind it, which makes me so obsessed by it. So I'll go to the working place and be creative the whole days. So when it becomes more than just a natural flow, when it becomes more or less a 24/7 idea and working, then it could be that it's actually an obstacle for you because you don't see, you want to hide what is actually here. And that hidden thing is the obstacle, can be the obstacle for not seeing the truth. So it seems to be very positive. Oh, I'm creative, I have a lot of ambitions. There can't be anything bad about this. Yes, it can actually. I think we can see it around when we look around with people who are very creative, very ambitious. Are they really happy? Of course, there are certain species, but generally speaking, what I'm saying here is that ambitions and creativity, when it is a focus on this, it can also be hiding from the reality that actually I want to be free, but this makes me happy. And if I don't do it, it makes me unhappy. So look at the unhappiness instead. If you find that this is a reason for you being creative. Because the trap is, of course, that we believe that things which are very positive, they can't be hindered from freedom. How can they be hindrance for freedom? I just wanted to point to this today, that it can actually be a hindrance from seeing the truth. This is not a theory only, actually, because there are some people in the big group, so to speak, that has had these problems, and realizing this was some kind of relief to see that, oh my God, I'm using the old energy to have strong ambitions, and instead of ambitions going down, I try to find something else, a new ambition. When the creativity goes down because the project is coming to an end, I try to make another project, a creative project. You can go on forever. The thinking mind has total control because ambitions is, of course, thinking, and creativity is also thinking. So we are living in the thinking mind all the time. And if it becomes if it becomes an obsession, it may be an obstacle for seeing the truth. I don't want to say so much more about this. It's a small topic, as we said. Is there anyone who wants to make any comment or sharing or questions? Not only on this, but on everything? Yes, Håkan.
Isn't it always so that ambition has to do with a me, while inspiration does not have to do with a me?
That's a very good question. I think you answered yourself. That the ambitions has to do with the person, but it doesn't have to be wrong, actually. Because ambitions can also be that something is a wish. We're not wishless people, so to speak. Wishes are coming. They have always been coming in us. But just that was not produced by me. The wishes which are coming, natural wishes to be creative. For instance, to play the saxophone in your case. Huh? So in this is a natural ambition in that sense. Just a feeling of like to do something, which doesn't have to be connected to a belief that I have to do something. The wishes don't have to be connected to me. Actually, they are never connected to me in reality. So the wishes which are more, so to speak, natural, they will continue, even when we see that there is no person me here. So the wish for playing saxophone, you don't have to worry about this, Håkan. You will start to play as before, because you have always played without me. Inspiration, yes. Inspiration maybe have a little bit of a more emotional tone than ambition. It sounds more like a little bit more of a thinking tone. Huh? And of course, inspiration is quite, it's something which is arises. Huh? And when it is arises, something is happening again, taking up the saxophone and start to play. Huh? And that has nothing to, doesn't have to be connected to me, of course. But it can also be, just to make the story complete here, that inspiration can also be a way of running away, actually. Because the inspiration as such is a starting point. And then if we go by it, or I feel so inspired, I think I will play the saxophone the whole day today. So it becomes something else than it was from the beginning. I just want to mention this. Do you have any comment on this, Håkan? No, no. Somebody else?
Can I say something?
Who is it?
This is Krishna.
Hi, Krishna.
Hi,
Hi, nice to see you
thank you
again.
for nice to see you too. Thank you so much for your. Sorry, I can't see you.
You can't see me?
Thank you so much for your. I can see you now.
Yeah, okay.
So thank you so much for this question. I just wanted to reflect because art came to me at the time when I had lost my. I was searching for my self-worth, and that's the time I chose art as my support and my strength, and giving me like a sense of pride, and I was feeling proud of myself. I was feeling very happy having the exhibitions and getting the compliments. But last few years, I've been in a place where this no longer, like I don't feel the same as I used to feel before. And then that got me a little frustration that I thought that maybe I'm losing art, or whether I'm not going to do this again. And I thought maybe I lost it, I lost this. And I was not understanding what is happening to me. But I think when you put light on this topic, it helped me to see things in a better way, because I also see more spontaneous art coming now at its own time rather than when I want to do it. And I'm in a little dilemma now because I'm planning an exhibition, and now I I feel I can't paint as I was painting before, like that ambitious artist. I don't feel ambitious. I just feel when it has to happen, it comes. But that is, I don't know how it's gonna help me in my producing my work. So that was my question. How do I balance this?
Can you repeat the question? How? Can you repeat the question?
How can I? Yes. how can I balance the spontaneity, which I feel sometimes I don't feel like painting, for quite a long time. And then there is a time when I just feel
Yeah,
painting, but
I
that
understand.
lasts for 1 or 2 hours.
I understand what you mean, yeah. Well, you are already balancing it because you are talking about it here now. So you are aware. You are totally aware that there is some kind of balance here, that we're not going into some kind of letting the painting be something which is hiding some other things in life. But the painting is based on spontaneity. It can be the case that when we are coming more close to ourselves, we're understanding more how we work, how we function, and that what we have been doing very much has been hiding, or what is actually not true, and so on. That the spontaneity or the creativity can go down a little bit, but it's usually not going down totally, because there is also based, but of course everyone is different here, but most people, they come to more natural balance by itself. And with the work we do here, by looking at things which are obstacles for our harmonious daily life, then we will see what happens, so to speak. And I think you already, by saying it in this way, you are aware already. And now the painting become a enjoyable thing. It's an enjoyable thing to paint. But if we have, that is one criteria we can use here. If the painting is totally enjoyable, then the spontaneity is totally natural. If the painting is more, or I have to do this now, then there's some kind of forcing in it, some kind of effort. Then maybe it's not natural and spontaneous then, because there's some kind of idea of producing something, and producing it within certain limit of time and such things. I don't know if that could be an answer for your question, Krishna.
Yes, Chris. Just a small thing, like about the time part is, I feel a little, stuck. Maybe I can discuss this with you on a personal plane, because there's a time limit I've given for this exhibition.
Yeah.
And
But that is more of a practical thing, huh? That's more a practical thing. And I'm not talking, we're not talking about situations, which is before exhibition, as you say. But we are talking about patterns here, huh? If the painting is used to produce something, we like to paint. That's why we started. We feel drawn to it. I really want to paint. It starts in a natural, spontaneous way, but then it may become something else. It becomes some kind of job. It's becoming some kind of more heavier. And that is because it has developed into something which has psychological issues in the background, probably. You want to comment on this, or?
I think I got my answer, Chris.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I think that Kushik also had takeaway.
Yes.
Yeah, hello Kushik. Welcome here. Nice
Thanks,
to see
Chris.
you. Yeah.
Are you okay? Your voice sound a little different today.
My voice?
Yes.
Yeah, because I caught a cold when I came to India now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a
I
little
hope
bit.
it's not that bacteria again.
No, I have a little fever, but it's okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, I wanted to speak about obsession. The creativity in my case becomes an obsession at times, and it makes me restless. So either I'm working too much or constantly thinking about it, even when I'm not working, and not able to disconnect from it. Even when I go to bed, I'm thinking about it and keeps me up at night. What do you suggest? I mean, how do I handle this situation?
So the obsession is about the creativity or
Yes,
ambition.
yes.
Yeah.
No, it's about the creativity. It's about the project that I'm working on.
Yeah. Okay.
Constantly thinking about it, and the ideas are coming.
Mm. Yeah. So when we are working with a project, so to speak, it can be we can be really grabbed by it, so to speak, but it can also be for just some limited point of time. So the question is it always like this, that you have been obsessed by creativity, even when you're not working with things which is creative? Or is it something which is just in just this single moment that you are working with something? Maybe you have time limit and so on. You understand my question? You're looking for a pattern here. And if the pattern is that the obsession of creativity is there almost all the time, when the project is ended, you start another project the day after. Then if it is like this,
No,
no.
it's not like that. It's only when I'm working on a project. As long as the project lasts, as long as it is not complete, I'm constantly thinking about it, even when I'm not working. I'm not able to disconnect at all.
And then when the project is over, you can just relax and don't think so much about creativity.
Not as much during the project, not as much restlessness that I have during the project.
Yeah. So maybe it is focusing, you're focusing very much on one thing. And I'm actually the
Yes.
same kind of person. I'm very much focusing on one thing, as people maybe noticed. So then we are very engaged, but it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with it. What we are talking about here is to find patterns that something is, I cannot be still one moment. I always have to find something new to be creative with. Then that is an alarm bell. And we can look at it. Why? Because the creativity, the ambition is somehow satisfying a psychological need. And to find that psychological need that it is satisfied. Why am I doing this? What is it that they actually satisfying here? What need is it to be satisfied by having this obsession with creativity? But if it is, I just mentioned it because it can be like this also. But if it's only coming for a certain specific situation, and then when the project is over, we just relax and enjoy life in other kinds of way than just being creative and obsessed by it. Is that an answer for your question?
Yes, it is. But I wanted to understand if there is a way to handle the situation when I'm working on a project, because it becomes so obsessive. There is so much pull to constantly work on it that I'm not able to rest at all. Even when I'm trying to sleep, I just feel like going back to my laptop and start working or thinking about it. Is there a way I can disconnect somehow? I can focus on other things in life rather than thinking about it all the time.
Well, non-doing meditation is one way. To have breaks, and it's not so easy because you have to force yourself to have breaks because you don't want to have breaks. That is the idea. It's not so. I'm usually never give advices when it comes to certain situations with some specific person like that. I'm just talking generally and see if there is a pattern here, because here we are working with finding out that we are already free, and what happens in the story. There's so many things happen in the story, and this is not my area really, But to answer your question. If you can't have any breaks, you can't have any breaks. But going out for a walk, to just mention something, going out for a walk, but maybe you can't go out for a walk because you're obsessed by it. So when you go out for a walk, you're constantly thinking about this project and it anyway. Is it so?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're a fanatic, so to speak. Huh? I know the type because I'm also fanatic. This is just a character we have. Doesn't have to be anything wrong with it. The only thing is that it can have social consequences in the sense that people think that we are rude to them because we can't meet them for 3 months because I have a project. That is, of course, the back side of it, so to speak, that we can become a little bit antisocial. And that is, of course, we have to take it into account. Maybe I should have a little bit contact with these people, not to lose them forever, so to speak. But it's more of a personality thing. All of us, we have some kind of personality, and they change it from morning to evening also. But one personality is this fanatic feature, this fanatic. But it's get results, so to speak. Fanatic people, they get results. Fortunately, in a positive way then.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Someone else?
It's Kathy.
Yeah, hi, Kathy.
Hi. What about a lack of creativity? Can that be a problem? Like a lack of enjoyment of things?
You mean boredom or something, or because lack of creativity can have many sources, as you know. Or if it's a lack of creativity because I'm so extremely bored with life. So then no creative thoughts arising. It can also be that there is some kind of tiredness. I'm not talking about physical tiredness, of course. Some kind of psychological tiredness. We don't have any energy, actually. We're feeling unhappy. And when we are feeling unhappy, it's not so much creativity coming then. Or if there is some kind of creative thoughts arising, they don't have so much power. Because usually, there are, of course, exceptions, but usually the human being is quite creative. We're not only as children, but the whole life we are very creative. Otherwise, we shouldn't have this earth looking like this, if it wouldn't be creative. So it's a natural somehow, so to speak, that the creative thoughts are arising. But if they're not arising, it can be that there is some psychological issues behind it. And this is also one thing which is changing, because the more we get free, so to speak, the more freedom we see, I would say, the more aspects of the freedom we see, better to say, then the creative thoughts, which has been a little bit blocked for different reasons, can be many reasons, of course, and everyone is unique here, they start to come. Suddenly we become very creative, seemingly from nowhere. Well, creative thoughts have been trying to push through, probably, but they have not had any power to get through because there have been some psychological issues in the way. Why should I start to do anything creative? I will not finish it. You know me. I just start something, but in the middle I just lose energy and I just say, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. And if you have that kind of situation in your life, you start projects, but you don't finish it, then of course you're also blocking new creative ideas from arising and getting manifested. It can also be that you have the idea about yourself that I'm not good enough, for instance. So why should I be creative? Why should I follow any creative thoughts? Because I'm not good enough anyway. Why should I start anything? I'm a loser, or I'm worthless, or whatever ideas we have about ourselves, which are very negative. And there can also be a hindrance from seeing that the creative thoughts are actually there, but they have so small power that we don't even recognize them. Do you have any comments on this, Kathy? Or any experiences of your life or something?
I guess I just wonder if it's something that I should be actively trying to do more of, trying to push myself to do things, or should I just sort of sit back and wait to see, what life does with me?
So who is going to try to do something then? So who is going to sit down and wait? I still believe that there's something that can be done here by a person. But if we have been looking at before, we don't find this person when we look for it. What is happening is that it's a more natural living, you could call it. When you see the freedom state that is already residing inside you, there is more natural relaxation in the body. The ideas of me not being good enough is gone. And then there is room, there is space for this creativity to come. It is a natural thing. It just will come by itself. It's just hidden in the moment. But then, of course, people are different here also. I mean, not everyone is 100% creative from morning to evening. But I've seen actually cases where creativity is very low when we have some kind of disease even. For instance, problems with eating. There can be so much focus on one thing, this eating and counting calories the whole days. So there is no room for any creative thoughts actually. So there can be many reasons. But if we want to, and if we want to look at it, we can just see how is it in my case. And that is the only way to do it actually, because everyone is unique. But if there is a problem with it, I don't have any creativity. The suggestion from here is to do what we do here already, to take away the obstacles for not seeing that you are already free. And in the freedom, there is two things. When we say freedom, it sounds good and very big, but it's not so big as it sounds actually. The freedom is not only freedom from ego, because that is, of course, one aspect of the freedom. It's the freedom from the ego who constantly is dissatisfied, who constantly wants to do something to fix something, who's constantly protesting against the present moment, who's constantly worried about the future. So that when the freedom state is seen, then these things are going away automatically. This is freedom from the ego desires. But there's also one other part of freedom, that is a freedom to. Because as long as we have ideas about ourselves, which are not true, this is what we're working very much with, then we're not open for new things. Because you have this filter, this is how it is. This is how life is. So we're not open for new ideas. But when the freedom state is seen, then there's also freedom to. There's a total openness. Everything is suddenly possible. When I say everything is suddenly possible, is literally meant. Literally so. Everything is suddenly totally possible. And of course, that is very good ground for creative thoughts to arise. So they will arise in a way that we had never imagined before. You don't have to worry about this, Kathy, I think. You want to comment on this or? No, okay. Someone else? Yes, Fritz.
Okay, so, excuse me, just a comment. I've noticed in myself, particularly during the period of my life when I was working, that at times when I was feeling depressed and down, creativity just wasn't there. And when that's absent, it's tied with emotions and a lot of things, but yeah, that's what I've noticed. So there might be a correlation there. There is.
Yes, yeah, it's our experience, isn't it? It's that there is a correlation. There is a connection between our internal state and the creativity. Definitely it is like that. It doesn't have to be, actually, because very disturbed people psychologically can be very creative, but mostly it comes in a very, very negative form. It's very destructive forms. So when we start speaking about creativity, we think about the good things here, but of course creativity can be also be creating destructive things for ourselves and for other people. It can also be creativity, and it's usually connected then to the inner state. But of course, as you say, in the majority of cases, it is the inner psychological state actually, which is, so to speak, paving the ground for creativity to flow. Because creativity is a flow, one thing after the other. And if you're very creative, it can be even, I'm that kind of guy. It's almost impossible to manifest one creative idea before next one coming. I have problems with it my whole life. It's so creative, so now it's a little bit more cool, calm down, but still there is that kind of thing, that the creative sort of blossoming so much that we don't have even time to manifest them before the next one comes. So it's true. I totally agree with you, Fritz, that it's a correlation between how we feel about ourselves and our life and with others and the creativity.
Just how would I put it? The ability to feel in general, to have emotion.
Yeah. Our general state psychologically. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Someone else? So to just summarize, it's about being open for the possibility that maybe even so-called positive things can have a backside to it, and just become aware of this. Why am I so obsessed by this thing? Not temporarily, as in Kaushik's case, but as a general pattern. I can't relax at all. When something is finishing, I have already 15 new thoughts how to continue in another way. Just to be aware of this, that is probably something in behind there. And also to just conclude that if we have idea, for instance, I'm not good enough. Well, one way to cover this, I know it's my own experience, of course. Sorry, I have to just change it. One way of coping with this example, I'm not good enough, well, it is to prove to others, especially, and even to ourselves, that I am good enough. And what is that? Well, one way to cope, to prove it, is to be creative. So that's, in that way, creativity is in the hands of negative beliefs about me. It's a big subject, actually. It doesn't seem to be so big when we talk about it in the beginning, but as we have not been talking about it for half an hour, we see how big it is. It is so many aspects of this. And creativity can pop up in many different forms. And we think it's something good. Oh, I'm creative. But it can be a sign, it can be a signal to look deeper if it is a pattern. And if there is something forcing about it, if there is an effort around it, it's usually good criteria. If it is an effort around it, which is not only there 1 minute, but constant, more or less, some kind of stress around it. If the creativity creates stress, oh, probably there is something else which is hidden behind it, why I started this project in the first place. And of course, if you find that is something that you want to look at more deeply in your own case, you can come to individual sessions and we can look at it more, of course. So, we will see each other tomorrow for those who wants to. And maybe we can conclude by just 1 or 2 minutes in silence. Thank you very much for today.